Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer 40k, and today we're going to talk about a really interesting army that I've been trying to put together to have a little bit of fun, and that army is an Officio Assassinorum army. Now, this is an army of the Imperium, and we'll talk a little bit more about this army in particular and why I really like this. And we'll look at how we can get started with this force in the video, and then look at how we can use some other units to bring in to expand upon those initial purchases, and finally finish off with a little sample 1,000 point army list that's completely match play legal for you to use as some inspiration to create your own army of assassins. And so, this is an Imperium-aligned army. How this sort of works is you've got some cool detachment rules, and it does require a little bit of playing around to make this army work. So, first of all, generally you want to try and find a cheap little patrol detachment for your army, and you want to have your warlord as an Imperium excluding Fallen in that army. Now, when you do this, you can then choose to take alongside this different detachments of called an execution force, which are vanguard detachments which allow you to take nothing but assassins and only one of each assassin in them, but those execution forces don't require having HQs in those vanguard detachments, so that makes it really easy to get like lots of assassins in there. Generally, these detachments will cost 400 points, so you need, some CP to spare. Now, the reason we go with the patrol detachment is because we're needing to make sure we have a full 6 CP to get 2 execution forces in our army. It also will allow us to take one agent of the Imperium, another assassin inside that patrol detachment as well. Now, like I said, this requires a little bit of playing around, and we'll show you at the end of the video with a little sample army list how this can all work, but it is a hyper elite army. I mean, it's a bunch of assassins. It's certainly not the most competitive army in the world, but if you really dig these assassin models, especially with that amazing one you can get from Warhammer Plus at the moment, this can be really fun and interesting. All the assassins are quite different and do nice little interesting things on the table. So with that said, we're going to look at a nice cheap patrol detachment I've worked out to begin with, and then we'll look at the assassins as well. And so this is one of the cheapest ones I could figure out to get me a patrol detachment. And first of all, we've got a Lord Commissar. I think he fits in nicely. He would certainly be someone who would know who the assassins are, and definitely be, I guess, higher ranking official enough in the Imperium to actually warrant them talking to and organising something around them. A lot of commissars do hold a bit of sway, so he definitely feels sort of like the right place. He's also nice and dirt cheap, can have a variety of different weapons. He's, going to serve the purpose well. And alongside him, we can have a unit of Tempestus Scions. Once again, nice and cheap. You can have 5 models here. Not a lot of things besides your assassins in the army. Exactly what we want. We want as many points for assassins as possible. So I think this is a great little setup of 2 characters. You can also put in, an anti-tank weapon or something into those Tempestus Scions if you really want to. Nicely, put a little bit of anti-tank and stuff like that, which is generally something you're going to struggle with the assassins. But I think this is, for me, just what you're looking for. You're looking for a nice cheap HQ option, a cheap troops option that are Imperium, obviously not Fallen, because you can't take assassins with Fallen. You don't get any of those execution force bonuses or rules, so you would have to take, other detachments to include your assassins in. But I think these, something along the lines of this Lord Commissar and Tempestus Scions is certainly what you're after to begin your assassin force. Now, moving on to the fun stuff, the assassins themselves. So, with these assassins, first of all, we have the Calidus Assassin. This is the female one you can see pictured on the top left. She's a close combat focused assassin, and she's actually a shapeshifter as well, which is pretty cool. So her polymorphine, during deployment, you can set this model up in disguise instead of setting it up on the battlefield, and at the end of the movement phase you can revert to its true form, set it up anywhere on the battlefield more than d6 plus 3 inches away from enemy models. For example, if you roll a 4, it must be set up 7 inches away. You can shoot and still charge in a turn in which this model fell back, and the Reign of Confusion if you have any models with this ability in your army. Then in the first battle round, you roll a d6 each time your opponent spends a command point to use a stratagem. On a 4+, your opponent must spend 1 additional CP to use that stratagem, or else it has no effect. This ability cannot affect stratagems used before the battle, however. In combat, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+, strength and toughness 4, and 5 wounds and 5 attacks. She only has a 6-up save, however, but her Neural Shredder is a nice little shooting attack. When resolving an attack from this weapon, if a hit is scored, do not make a wound roll. Instead, roll 3d6. If the result is equal to or greater than the target unit's highest leadership, it suffers D3 mortals. Her phase sword is -3 AP, damage 2, and you can't take invulnerable saving throws against it either, and she also can use her poison blades. Now, a different one of the assassins, the next one is the Kulexus Assassin. This is an anti-psyker assassin. So, he's got some cool abilities. First of all, he's got the Abomination ability, where this model can never be targeted or affected by psychic powers, and psychic powers aren't as effective around him. Life Drain, when resolving an attack made by a melee weapon by this model, a saving throw cannot be made unless it's an invulnerable saving throw. The Ethereum rule, when resolving an attack that targets this model, the attacking model is treated as having a weapon skill and ballistic skill characteristic of 6+. And the Psychic Assassin, attacks made by this model can target a psychic character even if it's not the closest enemy unit, which is pretty nice. So you've got your Animus Speculum, which is an Assault D3 18-inch range weapon, meaning it can just pick out psychers wherever you want. -4 AP, damage 1, and whilst there are enemy psychers within 18 inches of the bearer, change the type of this weapon's characteristic to Assault D6 instead. Now moving on to our next assassin, we have the Eversaw Assassin. He is a really sort of frenzied rampage, stim-induced killer. So he's got his Neuro Gauntlet for +1 strength, -1 AP, damage 1. And you can reroll wound rolls for the weapon. He's also got a power sword on him. His Executioner pistol is a 12-inch range pistol, 4 strength 4, AP -1, damage 1 weapon. And you can reroll wound rolls for attacks with it. He's then got his Bio Meltdown, where if this model is destroyed before removing the model from the battlefield, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches, and on a 4+, they take D3 mortal wounds. His Sentinel Array allows each time an enemy unit falls back within 1 inch before moving any models, this model can shoot as if it were the shooting phase at them. The Friends On ability allows him, when making a charge roll 3d6 rather than 2, and his Killing Rampage, each time a model in the enemy unit is destroyed or as a result of an attack made by a melee weapon by this model, you can immediately make 1 additional attack with a melee weapon this model is equipped with against the same unit. These additional attacks cannot generate further attacks. In addition, this model can consolidate 6-inch instead of 3-inch. So a nice little combat-focused one. Lastly, we have the Sniper, and this is the one that's got the cool alternate model available on Warhammer Plus. This is the Vindicare Assassin. His Exodus rifle, 72-inch range, heavy 1, strength 5, -3 AP, damage D3, and you can't take invulnerable saving throws against this, and attacks made with this weapon wound infantry on a 2+ regardless as well. His Deadshot rule allows you to, each time you select a target for this weapon when making an attack, you can ignore the Lookout Sir rule. In addition, and a modified wound roll of a 6 from the Exodus pistol or rifle, change the damage characteristic of the weapon to D6 for that attack. His Faultless Aim means attacks with this ranged weapon by this model always hit on a 2+ if it didn't move. Headshot, if after resolving an attack with the Exodus pistol or Exodus rifle by this model, a model in the enemy unit lost any wounds as a result of an attack by this was not destroyed, roll a d6. On a 3+, they suffer a mortal wound. If that model is not destroyed, you can roll 1 more d6. If this time the model suffers 1 mortal wound on a 4-up, and you keep rolling until you fail to cause a mortal wound. His Spy Mask allows you to ignore the effects of cover when shooting enemy targets, and his Stealth Suit means that ranged weapons targeting against him suffer a -1 to hit penalty, or -2 if he's in terrain. So all in all, you've got a good variety of different models. You've got some combat, you've got some anti-psycho, you've got some sneaky stuff, you've got a sniper. A very nice broad spectrum of different models to use in your assassin army. And so here we have our sample army list for you for the assassins. Now, we're playing 1,000 points. We start the game actually with 0 CP due to how we have to build this army. However, first of all, we've got our patrol detachment of Astra Militarum. We've got our Lord Commissar in there with a plasma pistol and power sword. And he's just got some relics and warlord traits. Pick whichever ones you want, really. And then we've got our Militarum Tempestus Scions in there with Voxcaster and a grenade launcher. This is going to cost us actually no CP because Warlord's in here. And we've also got an Agent of the Pyramid for an additional Vindicare Assassin. We then have 2 similar detachments, both Vanguard, costing us 3 CP each. But each of them contains 1 of each assassin, so 2 assassin execution forces here. for a grand total of 9 assassins in the army with, a Lord Commissar and some Tempest Assassins just to make the army nice and legal. This is what it is, if you want to run an assassin army, this is what you're doing. I think this would be a ton of fun to play on the channel. I potentially might get this army. I just think it'd be really fun to play all assassins. What do you think? Have you ever tried running an assassin army that's all assassins or indeed heavy assassin? Love to hear from everyone down in the comments below. Let us know what you think of this. And so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And drop us a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining our Patreon or YouTube members or grabbing some channel merch off our merch store on Teespring, which is on our YouTube store as well. You can also come chat with me and other members of our little community here and our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description, along with the Patreon and YouTube members links. And as a special shout out to all those Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giapi390. And a special thank you to our YouTube members, Greenroost Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Locke Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Sean Scott, Pink Nico Fire, and Robin Mankiller as well. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel, and to everyone who comes on the channel and helps us create everything we do. Thank you all for watching once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.